I am not a financial advisor, and I never give financial advice on this channel. 100% of this content is for entertainment purposes only. Hello everybody, hope you're doing well. It's Lane here with MetaShackle. I just wanted to go over and show you some clips from this recent interview that was done on the Beyond Mystic channel. In an interview with Clif High, who is someone that I followed for a very, very, very long time, and somebody that I don't necessarily agree with everything he says, but I really like to listen to his point of view, not to mention that a lot of his webbot data has been absolutely incredible over the years. And a lot of the way that I think about things are right in alignment with a lot of the things that he talks about. Not everything, but some. So I won't waste any more time, and I'll get into these clips.
That spit out, we don't know how much money. We do not know how much money these computers have created. There's no accounting for it at all. We know they've been operating for at least these last 4 years, and probably for many years ahead of the first Trump administration, totally unfettered. Okay, so they're just creating money. The issue is us citizens are paying through interest. We're paying a tax, so to speak, on that money as it is used. So this is an illegal tax because there's nobody accounting for that money. It doesn't come into federal spending. It's not guided by any of the laws, any of the programs, any of the funds. It's just some guy sitting at a computer in the Department of Homeland Security deciding to pay his cousin's dental bills, just boink, 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 and it's done. But he also buys himself a house. He also sends $5 million to some jihadi somewhere, this kind of thing. And it's never, ever hits the books. So we don't know that money's been created. So the total,
it's not just the taxes, it's also all the distortion in price valuations.
I was just going to say, so we've got a huge pile of money that is much bigger than we anticipate hunting for for goods. And so we have competition in currency. It's not money, it's currency for trying to buy the goods. And thus the price gets hiked way the hell up. And it's overinflated, and they use this money this currency to bribe people to kill and bribe people to be silent about the space aliens and all the reverse technology and all this other shit. So it is a terribleness. The problem is at this stage is that the doggy guys have not discovered the ones that run the black projects. They've only seen the ones that are like officially able to be got at. They won't be able to get their hands on the black project computers that are still doing this. So anticipate this part of the problem.
Now, this is part of an older webbot data set, too, where you suggested when the money stops, all these secrets start coming out, too. So we're kind of in that time now.
The secrets revealed period, right. It's all interrelated. Aliens, money, all of it, right? Okay, so the issue for us is that there is somewhere between 100 times more dollars that have been created than are officially on the books, and maybe over thousands of times more dollars that have been created. So if there were 1 penny's worth of actual purchasing power in your dollar from officialdom, from their official books, it's less than 1,000th part of a penny actual purchasing power if we had to account for all of the dollars. And that's what the Doge guys are actually doing, is they're forcing an accounting on the currency. So this is going to collapse the currency. It's going to kill it, this accounting itself. So the Doge guys are going to kill the dollar by forcing everybody to look at how many of these things had been created. This is probably that photo or that drawing that Dick Allgaier had done where the politicians are puking in the hallways because they understand that there's thousands of more times dollars out there than we can possibly accommodate in our system. Correct. And so they're just going to vomit because it means that the currency has no confidence once this comes out, and everybody will abandon it as rapidly as they possibly can. And so this is the death of the dollar period during this period of emergence. Over these next 2 years, the dollar will die 100%. So, okay, so basically, we can quickly get through this. The silver suppression ends, and that causes the total revaluation of everything, the collapse of the metals exchanges, the secrets revealed about who's got metal and who doesn't, because metal is the ultimate storehouse of wealth, gold and silver. And so when it happens, we're going to get towards something like Jim Sinclair had talked about in the year 2003. Where he said that if we took the number of dollars that we think are created and divided it by the amount of gold above ground, each ounce of gold would have to be worth 82,000 Federal Reserve notes in order for there to be a balance. Now get this, Jim at that time in 2003 had no idea that we might be 1,000 times over what the officialdom reports in number of dollars. So if he were correct, and which should be 82,000, then these days, maybe it should be $8.2 million per ounce. Something astronomical like that, right? And so the system breaks at that level. Banks won't be able to accommodate this sort of thing. There won't be loans. Then Bitcoin. These are all mathematical projections coming from people, and they do not understand how quantum computers work. Good idea. You know, the digital scarcity, et cetera, et cetera. So I don't care if DARPA created it or not, it's not in their control, and these cannot be controlled. And also, by the way, it's absolute bullshit that any quantum computer could ever crack the encryption within Bitcoin. These are all mathematical projections coming from people, and they do not understand how quantum computers work. And a quantum computer does one operation in 24 hours. It answers one question in 24 hours because they have to reset the machine. So you can't crack anybody's Bitcoin algorithms one at a time doing that kind of stuff. It's just never going to manifest. So a lot of these concerns are being hyped upon by the gritologists that see a particular view of the world.
Are you looking at this summer, this fall?
This is the thing. It'll happen over this 2-year period of time. What happens at any given point is somewhat predictable in a broad sense as we get into the charts, but into the details, when Obama's house is going to be looted, I don't know, right? Bill Gates, when they're going to arrest him and when people are going to seize his farmland, I don't know exactly, but that's coming.
Here, do you see that suppression in silver dying sooner rather than later? And talk about why you were saying $2,000 per ounce or $20,000 per ounce in that last Substack here for silver. Explain that first.
Okay, we'll go right through the $600 an ounce because of the fake money. And bear in mind, we have yet to get into those that are running the black projects suppressing alien technology. And that is thousands of times worse than the amount that has been looted for Obama's, right? Mm-hmm. That kind of thing. So that thousands of times worse will blow us right through. Basically, it's going to come to this question. You have an ounce of silver. What will you take in the way of Federal Reserve notes to hand it to somebody? And that's going to vary widely based on circumstances, individuals, personalities, and the flow of things at the moment. But we will blow right through $600 an ounce, but there will be people paying that to get an ounce of silver. When we had the last brush up against the silver suppression in the 70s due to the economics of that time, people were willing to pay $100 an ounce for silver. I knew several businessmen that were very thrilled to have been able to get 100 ounces or 200 ounces and stash them into a safe, and they paid $100 an ounce, and then the price collapsed. Jim Sinclair got brought in to, delever the Hunt brothers, all of that business. So it gets very complex. It's part of our complexity, and then the complications pile onto the individual parts in there. So we may see that Max Kaiser is a very small level of thinker with his understanding of Bitcoin at $250,000 sometime this year. It may be 2.5 million sometime this year based in Federal Reserve notes. In my book, I discussed the difference between the constitutional, I just brush across it, a constitutional dollar relative to cryptos as opposed to a Federal Reserve note, because we're going to have both in operations at the same time. That's the only possible solution, and the ontology is presenting that to us now, that the officialdom will understand this and they'll go along with that. That they'll keep the Federal Reserve note limping along as much as they are able to, whittling down the amount of extraneous ones, boosting it up, building the treasury back up, and so on, while they are attempting to produce a constitutional dollar that has in some way gold or silver backing. Once they do that, we may have a tenfold split. So it might be 2.5 million for a Bitcoin, but only 250,000 for a Bitcoin if you're buying it with constitutional dollars.
Right.
But if it's a Federal Reserve note, I don't want those things.